Yo, what is up, guys? It is the man in the can. It is Super Pigman here today after a long week of not posting anything. I decided that I have been working on this video for a Kenshi timeline. This one's going to be updated. No theories, no speculation. That's what this timeline is going to try to establish. Now, there are some things that we just for sure don't really even know, and it would be really hard to make it with exactly no speculation or anything like that, but I will try my hardest in this Kenshi video to do it. But without further ado, let's get into it. So I think it's about 10,000 to 20,000 years ago, there was this thing called the First Empire. Now the First Empire was ruled by these people called ancients. Now I don't know if ancients mean like that they were a different species of human or something, but they were ancients. They were something other than these Greenlanders that we have today, or Scorchlanders. It wasn't them. They were completely different people. Now, we do know that around 10,000, 20,000 years ago that they came to this beautiful planet of Kenshi in hopes of making the skeletons do all the work for them, which they actually did end up doing. Now, a couple, 1,000 years pass or so, and the empire is all flourishing, but it comes to a sudden stop of flourishing, like any empire does, and they end up having this huge famine and also this huge war. And we don't know who started the war or anything like that. We do know that it was an external threat, and that the threat had to be neutralized, and they had built these behemoths, which was pretty cool things. They were giant skeletons, pretty much things that can fling things into like orbit, and they pretty much got these behemoths to defend them, and their only purpose in life was to defend humans, so they would never try revolting against humans or anything like that. But the skeletons were programmed the other way, where they had feelings and stuff like that, and they could easily revolt. So skeletons took advantage of this, and they kind of started rebelling a little. And after seeing the complete destruction that the behemoths could do, the humans decided that it might be better just to destroy them, because they don't want them to be reprogrammed at all by some other force and use them for evil. So they end up destroying all of them, and that's where you get obedience from, because they were so obedient. Obedience pretty much caused the whole entire downfall of the First Empire, because now the skeletons saw what they were doing to pretty much their distant cousins, and they thought this could happen to us next. And with the huge famine and then the skeleton uprising, it pretty much brought a whole entire end to the First Empire. Now, through this gap, we do not know very much of what happens other than what we are told from Io and somebody else. They pretty much say that the ancients, out of nowhere, started becoming cannibals. They don't know if it was like some type of disease, or like they just started eating humans, but they mainly all come to the same conclusion, that it was a fail of evolution, that they cannot evolve into better forms of human, because they ended up started going crazy. They started eating each other, and that's where the cannibal tribes come in, and the cannibal plains. Now, nobody knows why they exactly turn cannibals, but it is very, very heavily referenced that it is due to probably the famine and also going crazy and mad. Now, so now, you get the start of the Second Empire, where Catlon and Tin Fist pretty much rise up and take over the entire planet of Kenshi. Now, things are pretty good. They're not that bad at the start. They started out with the noblest intentions. They did kind of enslave humans for a good bit, and they were genetically modifying humans to create the Scorchlander and also create the Shek. Now the Shek were more like enforcers to keep the humans in line, because skeletons, or Catlon has this famous line, I don't know it word for word, but he says wherever humans go, they cause destruction. No matter where they go, destruction will always follow. So he wanted to keep them in check to make sure that his pretty much empire doesn't fall apart. But he ended up going mad with the power and ended up turning into an all-out dictator, which caused the flourish of Okran, or the Orkanites' followers. These people pretty much believe that skeletons are breeded from Narco, the god of evil. And now let me talk to you guys a little bit about the foundation of the Holy Nation. So the legend goes that apparently this person was walking down the desert, and the sky laser just shot down, and it didn't kill this person, and they thought that they were like the god of everything, and they pretty much just started following this person, and the person ended up dying sooner or later. I don't even know. And pretty much the Holy Nation was founded by all these Orkanites, and they pretty much hated technology. Anything to do with technology they hated. But they did start out with noble intentions, as always noted by the skeletons, that they were always starting out with noble intentions and everything like that. So around this point, the Second Empire is kind of falling apart, and the Holy Nation is coming up to even more and more power. More humans are coming in, and the thing about the Holy Nation that a lot of people don't get is that they actually are probably one of the best societies to live in if you're a human, because you kind of get free Medicare, you get free food, being poor isn't illegal and stuff like that. And then also with the rise of the United Cities, Second Empire didn't really stand a chance, and they just flopped over and fell. And everybody went into hiding that was high up, like Tin Fist and Catalan. But Catalan left an ever-impressing, influence on their currency, because everything is called cats. And you can really reference this to, Catalan being the last leader. Maybe before that it was called something else, but they are called cats now. And so pretty much that's the fall of the Second Empire. And now going up to, future date, about like 900 years ago to 1,000 years ago, pretty much the Kenshi, or the Hive, decided to come over on boats, and they set up tribe here. And the Hive are really just a mystery. We don't know why they decided to come now and why. And I honestly do not know when the Southern Hive arrived, but they are the most hostile out of all of them. And also the Western Hive are pretty cool people, but they will always try to rip you off and everything like that. So the Hive pretty much end up coming, and nobody's ever seen the Hive before. And pretty much we all don't know why the Hive even came here. They're more of like this whole entire mystery wild card thing that we all have to figure out. And so the Hive, they're just here, they just come and they try to set up camp, and they try to get accepted as they're considered natives to the planet. And it's kind of weird because we always thought the planet was barren, or the planet is a colony or something like that. And it's kind of funny to think that the Hives might be natives. So yeah. And so we come more into the future, and the machinists are created, and tech hunters are contracted to find tech for them to for them to hide and everything like that. And yeah, you pretty much get your whole entire story right where you start off, and you get to decide where the story goes. Now, the whole entire point of this video was to not make any speculation or any theories. So I don't really know how the swamp formed, but we do know that the swamp is really recent, because irrigate or elevations and shit always go on the decrease and rise. We do know that they were used as ports during the First Empire, but then all the water kind of evaporated, and it kind of makes you wonder how was Kenshi the planet before obedience, because it seemed like it was a very lushful place and everything. I feel like the chemical reactions that happened in obedience kind of caused the downfall of everything. It made the planet more barren pretty much, and it made it more acidic and everything like that. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and peace.